Okay, Abby, so I was grading your homework from the worksheet and you did fine, but so there was like mistakes that I wanted to correct for you. And like Google Classroom does not like allow math teachers to really help their students. So I thought I'd make this video and send it to you. So the first one was to answer your question about the 4x squared minus 9. So I think you got all the steps right, and you got like x squared equals 9 over 4, and then you were like, this wasn't in the video. I don't know how to do this, which I don't blame you. So I wanted to show you how to do it. So if you have a fraction with a radical, you just make sure you take the square root of both the numerator and the denominator separately. Now I made this problem so it was nice and pretty, and the numerator and denominator were both perfect squares. So I can change that to x equals plus or minus, and then we would get 3 over 2. Sorry about my weird handwriting when I'm doing this on a computer. Next is this problem here. Again, I feel like you did everything fine and you subtracted 8. And I'm just going to skip to the part that you got. So you circled the answer x squared equals 140. And then you stopped and circled that. So just make sure that you take a second to take the square root of both sides. And then reduce. I saw that you're reducing by using prime factorization. That's fine. I'm just to save us some time. I know that this is divisible by the square root of 4, which is a perfect square, and the square root of 35. So when I go to write my answer, make sure that you write x equals, don't forget the plus or minus. A lot of people are kind of forgetting that on the homework. So plus or minus 2 square root 35. So you just left it the square root of 1. No, you just left x squared equals 140. So make sure you do that extra step. For this one, you were kind of off here. I think you divided by 4, right? And you got x minus 1 squared equals 8. Or sorry, x minus 1 squared equals 2. Which is good. And then you took the square root of one side, but you forgot to take the square root of the other. So make sure that when you're taking the square root, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I would get x minus 1. This is so bad. I need a document camera. I just don't have the money to invest in one. And then I'm going to write just plus or minus the square root of 2. 2 is prime, so I can't reduce it any further. And then the last step, and this was similar to like the second to last problem I did in the video. I'm just going to simply add 1 to both sides. And add 1 here. So I get x equals 1. I always write the 1 first, and then you add or subtract. So we write plus or minus the square root of 2 here. On the last problem, so I'm going to grab that one next. You did everything right again, but I think when you got to the end, so I'm just going to skip a few steps just to save some time. When I get to the end, I get x minus 4 squared. You added 18, fine. And then you divided by 7, and you got 4. So when you take, and then I think you did this part right too. You take the square root of 4. Sorry about that. You take the square root of 4, and you get x minus 4 equals plus or minus 2. Well, I think you forgot the plus or minus sign. So sorry, this is such a bad job here. So this plus or minus 2, you need to now add 4. When you add 4, you need to make sure that you add 4 to the plus and the minus 2. So you should have gotten 2 answers. And I think I only saw 1. So you'd get x equals, so the first thing I'm going to do is 2 plus 4, which is the 6 that you got. But I also need to do x equals -2 plus 4, which would end up just being 2. Alright, I hope this video helps. Like I said, you did fine. All your work looked good. It was just a bunch of little things, and it was really hard for me to, like, type out what you were doing wrong and felt like I was doing a good job explaining it. So, let me know if you have questions.